Okay, have you ever been learning Portuguese and come across something that just makes you scratch your head? Today, we're going to tackle one of those. It's a fascinating little code that all revolves around one single sentence and the questions people ask about it. So let's just dive right in and crack this thing together. All right, here's our starting point. Just imagine a friend or maybe a coworker says this to you. Vou entregar esta carta de recomendação a Sandra. It's a totally normal, complete sentence. I am going to deliver this recommendation letter to Sandra. Seems simple enough, right? Well, this is actually where our little mystery begins. Because here's the thing. If you wanted to ask a question about what they just said, you wouldn't use their verb, vou. Nope, you'd use vais or vai. So the big question is, why the switch? It feels a little random at first, but I promise you, there is a crystal clear logic behind it. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. To solve this, first, let's just look at it from the speaker's perspective. You know, the person who made that original statement. Why did they use the word thou? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Vou is the special form of the verb ir, which means to go, that belongs to eu, which means I. So whenever someone says eu vou, they're literally saying I am going. In our sentence, the eu is kind of implied. You don't always have to say it, but that verb, vou, tells you everything you need to know. The person speaking is talking about themselves. That's the first piece of our puzzle. Okay, so that covers the speaker. But a conversation takes two, right? What about the person on the other side, the listener, who's about to ask a follow-up question? Let's shift over to their role and see how this all connects. Now, this slide holds the secret. This is the main piece of the puzzle. When you ask a question back to that person, you can't use I anymore. You have to switch to you. And in Portuguese, there are a couple of common ways to say you. You're going to use vais when you're talking to tu, which is the informal you. Think friends, family, people you're close to. And you'll use vai for você, which is the more formal or standard you you'd use with a coworker, a stranger, or just to show respect. So now we get why we switch from vou to vais or vai. It's all about changing perspective from I to you. But the questions themselves also have a really specific structure, and they're designed to pull out different bits of information from that original sentence. So take a look at these two questions. The first one, o que é que vais vai entregar a Sandra? That's asking, what are you going to deliver to Sandra? The second one, a quem é que vais vai entregar esta carta? Is asking, to whom are you going to deliver this letter? And see how both of them use either vais or vai, depending on who you're talking to. And this table just lays it out so perfectly. Each question has a very specific job. Okay literally means what, so it's focused on the object, the letter in our case. A quem means to whom, so its whole job is to ask about the person, the recipient, which is Sandra. Think of them like precision tools for getting the exact answer you want. Now, here's a quick but super important little grammar note. You might be wondering, hey, why is it a quem and not just quem? Well, certain verbs in Portuguese, like entregar, to deliver, they need that little preposition a to point to who's receiving the action. It's just baked into the logic of the verb itself. All right, we have gathered all the clues, we've looked at this from every angle, and now it's time to put it all together. The Vais Vai Code is officially ready to be cracked. You know, it really just boils down to this simple three-step conversational dance. Step 1, the speaker talks about themselves, so they use eu. Step 2, the listener asks a question back to them, so they have to switch the perspective to you, using either vais or vai. And finally, step 3, the listener uses a specific question phrase like okay or akem to get the exact information they want. See, it's not a random switch at all. It's a totally logical shift in perspective. So what started out as kind of a confusing little puzzle is actually just a beautiful, elegant piece of conversational logic. It's all about perspective. Who's talking and who are they talking to? And here's a final thought to take with you. Now that you've seen the logic behind this verb, where else in Portuguese are you going to spot this same fundamental shift from I to you in a conversation? Keep an eye out for it.